A claps.
What's poppin' T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 14, Episode 9 review. If you guys have not copped any pieces from my Keisha capsule collection with Pretty Girl Parlor Curvy Teak, we still have some pieces left over. So all the links to the outfits that are still left will be down below in the description box, so please head over and support and cop these last few pieces for your girl. Now let's get into tonight's episode. We start off the episode with Sheree at her daughter's podcast. This is her oldest daughter, and the podcast is all about sex and relationships, so this is totally awkward for Sheree and even Sheree's daughter. And in the midst of them talking, her daughter gets a Google alert about Tyrone going to the blogs saying that he and Sheree are not speaking after he almost got her locked up to in regards to him filming on the show. And she was like, child, like that ain't got nothing to do with me. Tyrone must have went to the blogs, and she says that she feels like she's scammed by him and that he in fact wanted to be on TV. She was not setting him up. And she just looked real crazy. And one of the girls there at the podcast, like, I've tried to set Sheree up with good men. And at this point, I'm just like, girl, you played the fool. Get over it. Like, I mean, what more can you do at this point? You know that you're telling the truth. We saw that she was telling the truth because production was in contact with his lawyers and his people. So, of course, he knew that he was coming to film. It wasn't no setup. So, the hell with Tyrone. So, then we see Marlo at the crib talking to her nephews, and she says that they have been acting up ever since they spoke to their mom. And she just don't know if she's, raising them correctly. The oldest little boy, Michael, had 3 referrals at school in the last 30 days. He was arguing back with the teacher. And she just like, what is going on? Like, am I doing this correctly? And she's just getting weary at this point because she doesn't know what to do. And I actually felt bad for Marlo because, being a parent is very hard. You are in the lead and responsible for guiding somebody's life. And in this situation, these aren't even her, biological children. These are her nephews who already come from a troubled past. So it's like you don't want to be too hard on them, and then you don't want to be too soft on them. So I felt really bad for her in that instance. But, she just asked the boys to act right. Just act right, go to school and do what they got to do. And they agree. Then we see Sanya visit Kenya at Moore Manor, and they sit down and they talk and everything. And the topic of what happened at the Drop It with Drew little event comes up. And Kenya at this point is just basically tired of Marlo. She feels like, they tried to get past everything, but at this point, she cannot trust her when she says that, they're going to start over on a better note. At this point, it is what it is, and she just tired of fooling with Marlo. Next up, we see Sheree at Chateau Sheree, and her friend Fatum comes to visit. And they sit down, and her friend asks her, how she's been feeling after everything that happened with Tyrone, because they haven't been able to sit down and fully talk about it. And Sheree was like, I just feel duped. I feel like one of the people he scammed. I just feel stupid. And she was like, ever since that article, I just feel like he played me and I wasted all these years on him. And then she breaks down and cries. But I'm just going to keep it a buck. I don't believe that Sheree was crying for real. She immediately covered her face with the tissue, the Kleenex. Then when she got up, she turned her back to the camera. Then she walked out the room with her back to the camera. Then when she was in her media room, she still had her face covered. And then when she finally came back, her makeup was still impeccable. I didn't see no streaks, no dampness, no nothing for her to have broke down the way she was supposedly crying. I think that she was acting her ass off, kudos to her, but no, she didn't fool me at all. So her friend is just like, you know what, fuck him. It's a hot girl summer. You need to do you. And Sheree is like, yes, it's time to move on. I'm not dating nobody else beneath me. And yeah, it's about to, be lit. So we then see Drew and her mom go to the nail shop to get a pedicure. And Drew tells her mother that Ralph is writing a book on step parenting and that the assistant that was asking to give him a massage was the one that got him the book deal. And I'm like, how she out here negotiating book deals and getting them book deals when she was his assistant? Girl, it's just so much foolishness that goes on with Ralph and Drew that you don't know what to believe. So, Drew is like, he was resenting me because, I had issues with the assistant. So he fired her. And the mama was like, well, would Ralph just say, let me adopt, Drew's son? And she was like, I know Josiah would love that. And so the mama was like, well, I thought that was what he was going to do in the first place when you all changed Josiah's last name to his. And Drew was like, I thought that too. She was like, I don't know why he hasn't adopted Josiah yet. She says that he always says it's a man thing, like he don't basically want to step on his biological father's toes. But she was like, we have not seen nor heard from Josiah's biological father, and I don't know how long. And that's weird to me too, because if you're married to her, you both decided to get this little boy last name change over to yours. Why not just take it to the next step and just fully adopt him at this point? That don't make sense to me neither. But nothing about Drew and Ralph makes sense to me. His hairline doesn't make sense to me. None of it makes sense to me at this point. So then her mother plays for her audio of a prophecy that one of her, church friends gave, and it was to watch over Drew and her mama while the mother is visiting her in Atlanta, because there's an adversary in Atlanta basically coming for Drew. So Drew trying to figure out at this point, like, who is coming for her? Is it Sheree? Is it Sanya? She's hoping it's not Kenya. She don't know what the hell is going on. So now she is weary trying to figure out who is coming for her. And I'm like, Lord Jesus. So, then Drew goes on to tell her mother about Sanya. She was like, cause she might be one of the people that could be coming for me, and how she flipped on her and just turned on her out of nowhere, and how Sanya went and talked to Ralph about having more children because, her and her husband have been, having these conversations, and he wants to have more children and Sanya doesn't. And that Ralph told her, having children is hard, and we got 3 kids. We're always busy. And Sanya made the comment, well, I don't know how busy y'all really are. And I'm like, how you gonna go to this man to ask him for advice and then shade him about like what they do for a living and are they liars? I'm like, son, your girl, like that was so fucking rude. So at this point, Drew was just like, she has had it with Sanya. Like, it's just a wrap for her. And I mean, at this point, yeah, they don't need to be friends either. I agree with that. And it's crazy because Sanya acting the way that she's acting makes me actually like Drew this season. And I don't even like Drew. So I'm just like, Lord, help us all. So Marlo goes furniture shopping, and she invites Sheree and Sanya to join her. And they sit down and they have a conversation. And Sheree tells them that she wants to have a pajama party sleepover at her house. So Marlo was like, girl, well, you better tell Kenya don't come for me, because we going to tear up Chateau Sheree if she come at me crazy. And Sheree's like, no, we ain't going to have none of that now. And I'm like, Marlo, stop it, because you ain't fighting no damn body. Marlo was then like, me and Kenya have been into it for years, but that was not Kenya that day. She has never acted like that. And I'm like, well, girl, people get tired of you fucking with them. That girl has taken more than enough shit off of you. People get tired. You catch a motherfucker on the wrong day, wrong time, you liable to get your ass kicked. So learn how to shut your damn mouth. So Sanya was like, I actually was over Kenya's house the other day, and she was just like, she doesn't understand why you would call her a liar if you're supposed to be her friend. And so Sanya was just like, can you at least, not go below the belt? And Marlo was like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Girl, it's simple. It's simple, because if somebody talk about your ass and eat your ass up one good time, like really go in on your ass, you will learn to leave people the fuck alone. So Marlo then goes on to say that, she was in a bad mood one day. She was already tripping off her argument with Kenya, and she just came home and she was freaked out, and she told the boys to get their dirty clothes together so she could take them to the laundromat so they can go wash. And I'm like, why she taking them to the laundromat to go wash? She ain't got no washer and dryer in her house. I didn't understand that, because I'm like, I know Marlo bougie ass ain't going to no laundromat to get her clothes washed. Like, what is going on here? Was that her trying to teach them something? I didn't understand that part. But anywho, so she says the next morning when she went into their room, the clothes was on the floor. They were still damp. Apparently they didn't dry them all the way. So, once the clothes sit out and they damp, they get that little sour smell. So she was pissed off about that. They had clothes everywhere. Some of her stuff was in their room. So now she feeling like, I got to lock my shit up around them, or they going to steal my stuff. She said they had food and stuff underneath their bed. And Michael had punched a wall. And I'm like, ooh, Michael, little ticky ticky boom boom. So she was like, she just had it, and she put him out. And they was like, you put him out? She was like, yeah, I put him out. They were like, where'd they go? And she was like, they went to my sister's house. She just heard it in my voice. She knew that I needed a break. They gonna be there for like, 30 days or whatever. And so, Sheree in her confessional was like, I have never taken a break away from my kids. I mean, I never got the opportunity to, because when you're a single mama, you just don't get to just say, here, somebody come take them so I can get a breather. We wish, sometimes we have that luxury for a day or two or a few hours, but not no damn 30 days. You know what I'm saying? When you a mom, you a mom. When you a dad, you a dad. It's about sticking and staying. And so I feel like I understand her saying that she needs a break. It was too much for her, especially since she's not their biological mom. She doesn't know anything about parenting. She's just their aunt. She's getting accumulated to them just like they're getting accumulated to her. But at the same time, you're dealing with two young boys who obviously are going through, emotional trauma, mental trauma based off of their mom being a drug addict and in and out of jail and stuff like that. They need to be in therapy. I don't understand why they had not been in therapy up until this point. And you putting them out for 30 days, even though you think it's teaching them a lesson about being grateful, all that to me shows them is that, you know what I'm saying, she gonna throw me away just like my mama threw me away. You know what I'm saying? So what really matters, if I act up, if I behave, we're just going to get thrown away anyway. So I think there was a better way for her to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Because you want them to understand that you're going to stick and stay with them. But they also need to understand that they just can't go around acting no any type of way and punching holes and all of this type of shit. Like, nah, you got me fucked to the up. So Sheree asks Marlo, I think we need to dig a little bit deeper on why you put the boys out. And she was like, when I was coming up, I had a drug addicted mama. I had it rough. I've been working my whole life. I had to take care of myself, and I just want them to be more appreciative. And then she goes on to say that I think I'm afraid of failing, with everything going on in the world. I don't want anything to happen to them under my care. And she was like, well, maybe I just need to tell them that I love you, but auntie need a little me time right now. We just going to take a breather, a break or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's most definitely needed to be said. And I could understand Marlo being afraid to fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But I think that she's way too hard on herself. But, these are her nephews. She loves them and she wants the best for them. And like any parent, you're going to be afraid for your children. So I love this part of Marlo. The other stuff I could deal without. So it is the night of Sheree's pajama jam, and Marlo don't really want to go because I feel like she low key don't want to confront or face Kenya. Sheree has a painting class for the ladies. They're gonna do some sip and paint, which I thought was really cute. I actually have something like that planned for my birthday next month. I'm so excited. But anywho, so she has all the ladies come in like cream beige colors, which I thought was so stinking cute. I might have to steal that idea for myself. So Sheree, in fact, did invite Drew, but I don't think she knew if Drew was gonna come or not. So Fatum comes to the party, and she tells the girls that, she was taken aback by how Drew came at her at Kenya's daughter's birthday party, and how she, was attacking her or whatever, and how she was talking about it to one of her guy friends. And he asks, well, who was the girl? And she told the guy Drew's name, and then the dude came back on he did a background check on Drew and her husband, and all of these different aliases came up for Drew and her husband, and she shows the girls the actual receipt. So everybody's looking like, oh my God, like what in the hell is going on here? That's a bit much. Like, are you vying for a peach, sis? It's great for reality television, but like that's a lot. That's a lot. So Candy is like, some people do that when they ain't got good credit. And then Candy said in her confessional, Ralph is like Tommy from Martin. He seems to have money but no job in sight. And I'm like, oh my God, the shady reads. I mean, the man's supposed to do like security and home invasions. I don't know, child. Don't give me the line. So the ladies are arriving. Monietta Shaw comes. Of course, Kenya is there. And Drew arrives, and she has on the same MCM pajamas that Sheree has on. And when she spots Fatum, she immediately goes to reach and give her a hug. And then the closer she gets to her, she realized, oh, this is the chick I got into it with at Brooklyn's birthday party. So she was like, oh, I didn't recognize you. Okay. So then Marlo arrives, and Kenya in her confession going talking about some Sasquatch and a lace arrives, and I am not phased. I'm like, the names y'all call each other, Jesus the Christ. So painting class starts, and they're going to be painting breasts and booties and penises and stuff. And Sheree has live models that are going to be naked and stuff. So everybody is just clutching their pearls. Other people are way into it, honey. Lisa Wu arrives, and it was really dope to see Lisa back on the show. I didn't like that they put Lisa Wu as Sheree's friend. Like, y'all could have put OG ATL housewife or, former housewife. Like, come on now. Don't deduce her to that. Like, she was on the show for the first 2 seasons. Like, don't do that. So then Drew ends up confronting Sanya as they're painting about the comments she said to Ralph about she don't know whether or not if they busy. And Sanya immediately becomes defensive, has got an attitude, and was like, I wasn't saying it like that. I was just saying Ralph makes it seem like y'all are more busy than, and you can't quantify how busy I am, so don't make the assumption I'm not busy. I really had high hopes for Sanya, but at this point, you can tell like she's looking for moments to have drama so she can like secure her spot or something. And it's just not gelling because the stuff that she's doing don't even fucking make sense. Now, like I said plenty of times, I could understand her looking at Drew differently when she felt like Drew was moving funny. But at the end of the day, you did say it to her husband, and you did say it in a shady way, and production even plays it back. You were being shady, sis. So how you gonna get attitude when she confronts you about continuously being shady towards her. So then she gonna walk off with an attitude, and Drew like, bye girl, like ain't nobody got time. So then Marlo follows Candy into the powder room and tells her that she been going through a lot, and she breaks down talking to her about how she's stressing and how she's drinking a lot, and then she put the boys out. And Candy was like, what? She was like, putting them out is gonna be worse, like you just can't be doing that. And Marlo was just like, I need time for myself and all of this stuff. And yeah, you need time for yourself, Marlo, but at the end of the day, you stepped up to be these boys' guardians. You just can't put them out every time times get rough. Like, it's okay to take an afternoon or even a day, but not just putting them out. So Candy was like, shit, I'm surprised you was even being nice to me. And Marlo in her confessional even goes on to say Candy is definitely showing up as a friend. But you the same person that want to say Candy ain't your friend. She ain't there for you. And she don't do stuff for the community. Like, Marlo is another faker. It's like you just talk out of your ass for moments. And we all know you're not being real and you're not being genuine. And what you're saying is not real true tea. So I can't get with Marlo either. And that's why I'm like, take her peach back. Like, because you're not even being real. So Candy was like, you was about to be cut off based off, how you was acting. And I don't blame Candy, because Candy has gone above and beyond for Marlo as a friend. And for you to get on this show, now that you got your little raggedy ass rotten peach, and come for me, like, really, bitch, this what we doing? Okay. So then the ladies sit down for dinner, and Kenya says they need to play a game called Yes Queen, where they got to go around and say something positive, and then after that they got to say Yes Queen. So everybody is going around the table saying something positive. Then when it gets to Drew, she was like, I get along with almost all of you. And everybody like, girl, that is not being positive. You still shading folks. So they skip her, and then they come back to her. She's still being shady. And Kenya was like, girl, like, what are you doing? Mind you, Kenya done had about 5 drinks now. Kenya is lit. Kenya don't drink that much. So Kenya is like lit in the life of the party. Lisa calls Drew out for still being shady and telling her that, she shouldn't be worried about who like her, who don't like her, because it ain't gonna serve you none. You walking around being mad at somebody and they moving on, and Lisa drunk and angry and preaching. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is happening here? Why are you acting like this, Lisa Wu? So Sanya jumps in and tries to say something, and Lisa was like, no, I'm talking. Let me finish. And Sanya was like, let me talk. You've been talking all night. Like, damn. And Lisa like, no. And I'm like, damn, Lisa. This is supposed to be your moment to shine. Maybe get a peach again, and you are fucking it up. So Drew then says to Fatum, you were speaking on my husband. And Kenya then tells Drew about the background check that Fatum's friend did on her. And Drew was like, wait a minute, are you a stalker? So Drew goes on to explain that one of the aliases on the paper said that Ralph goes by the alias of Danielle. And so she was like, that's my assistant. And they show a flashback to the assistant that works for them, but they're still not explaining why the assistant is on the list of one of your husband's aliases. That don't make sense. Because like, how would that lady know who was your assistant and all of this stuff? Drew tells Fatum she's drunk, she's had enough, she needs to be done. King was like, yay for being drunk. She does a death drop on the ground, child. It's just a mess at this point. Fatum is threatening Drew after Drew says to Sheree, you need to address this. Like, your friend is like straight up coming after me. And Fatum was like, I'm going to get more info on you. You keep fucking with me. Then Fatum tell Candy to come on so they can go get the coochie incense for Sheree. Kenya helps Sheree get into this robe ensemble, child, that was very mystical, and she squat over the coochie incense, and Sheree gonna take any moment to get her exercise in for the day, so she do like 30 squats over the goddamn incense. Kenya then come popping her old pussy over it, and everybody just laughing and having a good time. And I really enjoyed this part of it because it's good to see the ladies getting along, being footloose and fancy free, laughing and kikiing. It was a good moment. And it was good to see Kenya just letting loose and having fun. So then they're all doing a toast. And Kenya, was like, is my wig on right, y'all? And she's making fun of the fact that she has on a wig. And Marlo was like, I'm just loving the fact that Kenya is embracing wearing a wig, because there was a time when you couldn't say that around her. And I think she was being genuine, but then another part of me felt like she was trying to poke the bear and trying to be low-key shady. And so Kenya was like, girl, I am the moment, like no matter what. And here go Marlo, to mark you're not, to your husband you're not. And I'm like, what is that for? And everybody like, Marlo, stop. And then Marlo was like, I got a surprise for you all. Pack your bags, we're going on a road trip. And Kenya was like, a road trip? Like, that's all you could afford to do? Okay. And so then Marlo tried to go and give her like a toast, but she's trying to like clink her glass with Kenya's and like break the glass over. It was weird. And Candy was like, stop, I don't like this. Like, what is going on? And it's just a mess. Sheree chasing Kenya around her house. It was funny. I didn't like what Marlo was on. Like I said, I don't know what that was about at the end with the whole glass situation. But like, you started with her. That lady wasn't even thinking about you. So like, I'm sick of her with the trying to make this storyline with Kenya stretch on. Like, oh my God, it's so annoying at this point, because Kenya pays you dust and you steady go after her. And it's making you look desperate. It's you're searching for a moment. You're searching for camera time. You're searching for drama. And it's just like, stop at this point. Like, it's annoying. I will say though, that the production and executive producers over there should have added Fatum and Lisa back to the fray, outside of just adding Sanya. Because this Fatum chick and Lisa, that was the extra spice we needed up in this bunch, honey. Yes, because Monyetta, she's a cute friend of the show, but she ain't really doing too much. She just there. You know what I'm saying? So I think Fatum and Lisa should have been the friends back to the show, because they are bringing spice, honey. Overall, I'll give tonight's episode a B-. It was cute for what it was. I laughed. There was some really cute, funny moments or whatever. But I just feel like Sanya is doing too much. She's trying too hard and it's not coming across genuine. Same for Marlo. Yeah, I just ain't feeling it. Let me know what y'all think though down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button, you guys. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.